Morning. Can you hear me? All right, good.
Good morning.
Morning, Zeb.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Here we are. Jim, where are you? Somewhere, looks like you're,
I'm in New Hampshire.
oh, I'd have to say, that's the place I'd be if you had something set up like that.
Yeah, I got that EXP head on the wall, so.
Nice up there, huh? All right. So it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna share screen so I can get to you. I mean, the host disabled. I don't want to do that. Give me a few minutes here. We'll get this. Better than yelling. So I gotta exit out and come back under another name here because I can't host it properly. Give me half a minute.
Okay. Morning, Mr. LeBlanc.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Oh, just living the dream. How about yourself?
Doing okay.
Look
Is
at all
that-
that stuff on the wall. Wow.
The what?
Look at all that work on the wall.
That's, yeah. Those are my credit files for continuing ed. Let's see. All my dead folders.
No business, huh?
Going out this afternoon.
Oh, good.
How's it up in New Hampshire?
It's screwy.
Okay.
It was like 70 yesterday. It was cloudy. It was clear. It was rained last night. It was supposed to depend. All depends what time of day and where you are today.
Yeah.
It's going to be anywhere from 50 to 70, cloudy to rain to snow. We're pretty much covering the gamut today. So
Not bad here right now. It's in the 60s.
yeah, it is. Right now it's 54 at my house. So it's partly cloudy. Yeah.
Okay,
You got me?
There we are.
All right.
and then you can search. They should be able to see your screen now.
They can see my screen. Can they see this, right, what I have in front of me?
Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah, you just got to blow it up. It's small.
Yep. So then whenever you click on that, they'll be able to see it bigger and.
How's that look, guys?
Oh, slick as a cup of custard.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, Kelly. I got to keep her next to me for this one, I think.
Yeah.
At some point, I will to get on the Wayman system, show them how to get on to see the zoning.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so quick idea. I don't know if any of you, or some of you may have taken this class in the past, but it's in regards to basically working with builders, types of land, and how you find some of this property. Right now, if you have been, and you probably are, if you're reading different publications in real estate or listening to some of the news, that we do not have enough homes to sell, basically, and there aren't enough new homes right now to have buyers purchase. And what I have found is that the state, and I'm going to give you a weekly publication you should buy every week if you want to take a note. It's called The Banker and Tradesman. It's a small paper. Let me see if I have anything from it here. Here's something that came back, and this is just from March, but if you get the B&T Weekly, it's a lot more information in this publication on a weekly basis that you find out about real estate, what the legislatures are doing, the lawmakers, the governors, and what they're trying to create, which right now they're working on, they're actually maybe holding money back that they give towns if towns don't start to do some rezoning in certain areas near train stations to allow to have a denser population. So that doesn't mean you can take a single family, remove it and put up 10 units. You have to have a certain amount of land, but the bylaws in the towns, they're asking them to change some of those bylaws. And if the town is reluctant, then the state may be holding some money back if the town has MBTA going through it. So it's a world of knowledge, much more than you can get from, and I get a couple of papers a day plus other publications all the time, but that B&T is big. That's gonna give you a much better idea what's going on in real estate in all our surrounding towns. So let's start from the easiest point of what I've done to work with different builders and do some construction myself. The easiest way to find buildable lots is a Form A lot. I don't know if anybody knows that term. It's pretty simple. It means it's a buildable lot as it is. So if you were to go on your MLS and you went under a certain town and you were doing under public, where you can find out public notices about what real estate is, a public write-up about property, and just click on land, you will find what's developable or not developable. Does everybody know how to do that when they go into the MLS, go into the public section of the MLS? Is anybody trying to do it right now as we speak?
Where am I here?
I wonder if I can do it here without putting too much stuff up on the screen. How many people are on the screen? I just see one size. I have about 2, 4, 5 in front of me.
15.
Oh, good. Okay. And I'm going to be yelling for Kelly now and then. Kelly. I'm going to go under the, oh, that came down on me. I'm going to go into the MLS.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to click down on,
Yep, they can see everything you're doing.
oh, it's all shared screen right now, so it's that simple. I can just click on, okay.
Yep.
So what we're doing is I went on MLS, I'm clicking on public records. If you're watching me on here. And I'm going to go into the town. Oops. Something came up I don't need. What is that?
If you scroll down, just click right there.
I'm going to take that up. All right. So let's go under, here's a town a few of us know about. Holbrook. And you go under all property types and click on land. You click on the land as I'm doing. I want to do a search, but you're all in the way for me to get there. Let's see if I can make this work.
If you click start, if you scroll.
There we go.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I can minimize this, right?
Mhm.
So if you go into search, you can see the far right. Is anybody with me? Because I can't see you anymore to go on, so I can show you this.
No,
Can you hear me?
we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Here.
No,
All right, good.
we're
All
good.
right. So if you're looking at what I have up in front of you, you'll see some of the addresses will be 85 Abington Ave, 103 Abington Ave. There's different properties. And to the far right, it may tell you if it's residential undevelopable or if it's developable, and you're looking for developable land. So 104 Abington Ave, unfortunately, it says unknown. So that can happen too. Then you got a little more research. Matter of fact, I just sent this over to my attorney to do a title search to find out if there's anything we can find out about that property. So let's go to one that maybe we can find somebody that may own it. Let's go down to 30 Alder Road. And if you click that on, that will tell you that's a residential developable piece of land. Gives you the address, and then it gives you the owner's address. Looks like these people are in Seattle, Washington. Now, this is a piece of property that if I was looking in that area, I would do some investigation and get a hold of these owners to see if they want to sell. I would also, after talking to them to find out what their plans are, drive by the property to see what's around it and what it's like. Pieces in my way.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to scroll up now. I can't scroll
So
up.
Steve, if this is out there as like non-developable,
Right.
non-developable land, excuse me.
Undevelopable.
Thank you. Is that subject to like change where if you went to the town, like you could kind of work with them to change that if there's a piece of property that you're interested in that or is this kind of like hard and firm?
I will tell you that I've done research on undevelopable land, and quite often they may have deemed it that just to try to save some money on their taxes. Yet it very well still could be developable or buildable. Just because of what it says here doesn't mean that the town's got it right.
Mm-hmm.
You could go down there, when you find a piece of land, and if you want to build on it, you're going to have to do some due diligence. That you've probably heard of wetlands and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Wetlands doesn't mean it has to be underwater. You'll see standing water there. It could very well be a type of plant species that's there.
Okay.
A lot of this, some of these lots, if you know the town, might be in areas that are common to be wet. So you'd start to learn that you may not want to go and do too much research there.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the others, like here's one on Belcher. Now I know for sure that property is a buildable piece. I've talked to that's actually a doctor that owns it. And years ago, he bought a building that was a school, and it's now a doctor's office, and he has some land behind it.
Oh, okay.
Can I get back to the Zoom by just going over to Zoom now?
Mhm. If you move your mouse up.
What?
Can I move your mouse up? Then go to more. You should be able to see full screen.
Okay, just get out of this. Go over to the attendee.
Mhm.
Oh.
minimize it, your screen. And then here, do, and then do the,
Oh, yeah.
you can make it bigger if you want.
This is good.
Which way do I do to do that?
Just if you, you can, you know what I mean? You can make the screen bigger.
That's what I'm trying to do, but it's not going there.
If you click this and then expand, you can click.
Here you are. Now I can see you all again.
You're all set?
For the moment.
Okay.
Don't get too far. Do you still have the other share screen in front of you? Is there anything that I have up there still?
No.
Oh, yeah, we just see the blue screen with malwares or something on it, so
Malware.
mal bites.
You don't see me?
No, we see
I
your
see you
desktop.
out of the side, yeah, I can see you.
Oh, I was doing that. What do you want me to do?
Just stop sharing your screen.
If I want to bring this over.
Oh, well then go back to your, go back to the internet where the sheet is. Yep, click on the Chrome.
There we go.
Go to Black's Landing. There you go, and then you can click on that.
You have that where it
There you
talks.
go.
All right.
Yep.
You have it in front of you again?
Yeah.
I don't see it up on mine, just yours. Okay,
It's behind the screen.
Yeah.
just if you wanted to see it.
thank you. So you get an idea of the Form A lots are the easiest ones to have. And I know it's like drinking out of a fire hose, and this term's been used so many times at KW. But the fine parcels of land that are subdividable raw, what you need to know is the type of zoning in each town. So taking some notes, what I would suggest is that you practice or you look at what the zoning may be in certain towns. Like I've done a lot in Weymouth, I've done some in Holbrook, Braintree. Once you understand the zoning for each town, then you're gonna understand what you have in front of you. You know, what you could do with that property. And Weymouth itself has changed some of the zoning. Holbrook has, they have these overlay zoning districts where they allow you, all towns are trying to get more money in taxes. So these overlay districts are allowing people to build a denser builders to denser housing on smaller lots. Where in the past, they would only let the builders do whether it was business B or business A or one single family. And the reason being is, as I just said, they need the tax money. So every town, plus a lot of the properties are what they call derelict or past their usefulness. I'll give you, for instance, Route 3A in Weymouth. There's a lot of old structures on that street on both sides. As soon as you get over the bridge from Quincy, going all the way to Hingham. And the town would like to see developers come in and redevelop that area. So what they do is they let you know what you can do there now, and then now there's an overlay that they'd installed and what can be done in that overlay. That's fertile ground right over there for realtors and developers. Look at where the U-Haul is, if you know where Route 3A is.
Yeah.
That particular property could have hundreds and hundreds of rental units. But the U-Haul folks don't want to sell it. But the town would like to see them sell it. You can have up to 4 stories there. You have to deal with parking, which would probably be under the ground, below ground, underneath the building. So there's other areas right next to the Dunkin' Donuts in that area coming up on the left-hand side from Quincy. They'd like to see that redeveloped. Some of the older gas stations they'd like to see taken down. And you can put second and third levels on some of the buildings that are there now. So they do that because they know that the commercial does not make a lot of money as far as rental property is. Retail is going down the tubes. You can only have so many different, let's say, service industries, nail shops, barber shops. So they're saying, we know that there's not a lot of money when you rent out commercial property, but we'll give you a second and third level for residential. And they start to minimize what you need for parking too. That's one of the biggest, I don't want to say the hardest thing to come up with, but you always got to make sure you have enough parking and green area. But the towns are working with developers as much as possible. Any questions yet? I know I'm giving everybody a lot to think about here. No. Jim, didn't you have some parcels in Holbrook at one time? Behind the service station? You're on mute.
Yeah, I used to have some, it's a time station now on West Franco Street. I used to own that.
Did you have the land behind it?
Oh, that belonged to my cousins next door. Andrews bought the whole thing.
That's right.
So, yeah, that was completely wet and stuff directly behind me. So,
Right.
and
Okay.
then my, and then, with my aunt, and uncle, then behind that, my cousin built a new house up in Magnolia. They kept a couple lots up in the back there. So
Okay.
now Stikelether's trying to cut through there for all that land he's got under the high tension wire. So,
Yeah, he sold that to some fella called me the other day about what to do with it. But he didn't have a lot of, he didn't have a lot of knowledge of what he can or can't do in that particular spot is what.
yeah.
So as realtors, that's what you want to gain is that knowledge to help some guy out like that fella.
Yeah.
Give him a better understanding of what he can do with the property. There are parcels, again, this goes back to zoning. I'm looking at section 2 here, that if you can find there are homes that are currently occupied, single-family homes, or even multifamily, that have more land than they may need. So an R1 zoning in Weymouth is you need 25,000 square feet. Some of these properties might have 50, 60,000 square foot lots. You could possibly subdivide that lot, keep the house up, and then get another lot to build a home on. But you need to know what your frontage it has to be for that area. So that gets you back to the zoning, whatever the town is that you're going to work within. Every town is different. Every town is different. You know, Quincy has small lots. I'm just going to use myself as an example again. Built a 2-family on a 5,000 square foot lot. Sorry about that, on a couple of occasions. And all you need was 50 foot of frontage. Where in some towns you need 100 feet of frontage, 125 foot of frontage. Sometimes it's 40 foot, but you need 100 feet in front of where the house is being built. So you can have a driveway that comes up like this, and then it goes off to the left to have enough room, or the right to have enough room in front of the house, then it goes back and gets small again. That's called a pork chop lot. And again, a lot of realtors don't know this. They do not have a clue. If you gain this knowledge, you'll be that more valuable to the people that are out there. And builders need property to eat. Plain and simple. They want to build so they can build houses, so they can keep their guys busy, you know, pay their bills, own their trucks. So they always have to have the land ahead of them. And right now there's a lack of it. In the paper the other day, if you read, down in Halifax, they're trying to get that town to open up so they can have near the T stations more multifamily housing. And the towns push back and say, well, we don't want that in our zoning. A lot of towns don't even allow you to have apartments anymore. They've changed their zoning, made it very difficult to have apartments. And this has happened over the years. Again, the state's saying, well, if you don't start opening up your land for apartments or more denser living areas, dwelling areas, we're not going to be giving you as much money as we give you now. So they don't want to lose some of that federal money that goes to the state, that goes to the towns. That's what it's starting to come to. And down in Halifax, they think they have 0.5% of the whole place is affordable, meaning the whole town. We're supposed to have about 10%. If you have less than 10%, you can do a 40B. So that's down the road. Let's see. Although you will find more land down there. If you go down, take it right down 58 and look at all the land that's down there that's open. You'll be surprised how much land is really left. So as time moves on, people move further south all the time because they need to. There's nothing left up in the city. Or they're taking houses down now. And putting a second, you'll see a house at 2052 Washington Street. We just sold that. And the builder bought it and he's gonna put a second level on it. And he paid $450 for the house. So when he puts a second level on it, he's gotta be up around $900,000 to make it work. And that's just because there's a lack of product out there. And this is in Braintree, right near the Holbrook line. All right. Any questions as I keep firing this at you guys?
No, I'm good.
Anybody else? And you can call me afterwards if you do have questions. It's, this is something I like. I like seeing realtors find land because you get two commissions. Sometimes you get the commission on the land sale, then you decide to sell it to the builder, you get paid by the owner, and then the builder gives it back to you. That's the idea. So you can get two commissions on one parcel of property. And that's not a bad way to go.
Steve, can you buy land with a mortgage if it's over a certain amount of acreage?
Buy land. You can get a mortgage. If I buy property to build on,
Yeah,
I'll get a loan on the land, and then I'll get a construction loan
okay,
to build the whatever the house might be or the property. There's a lot of different variables about that question. That's kind of an umbrella question.
right,
If you're going to build or sell and you're a builder, then you may put down 20-30% in the land and see if the bank will finance you 100% of the construction from a budget that you'll give them.
Yep.
And what you do is you'll probably just end up paying on the interest only during construction. So you're not paying down the note, but you're paying juice every month to the bank. And at the end, when you sell it, the bank takes what they're owed, and you, as a builder, will get the remainder of it. Are you asking to do that for yourself to build a house? Something
no, I was just curious if like you see pieces of land, like say you saw 100 acres of land and you wanted just to buy the land and keep it as land.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you'd be able to get a mortgage on that.
You got to have some kind of use for it or a lot of money down.
Yeah,
You know, what had happened because of the taxes get so high. You know, a lot of builders would buy and try to have 4 or 5 pieces ahead of them. But with taxes getting so expensive now, you could spend $3,000-4,000 a year on just a vacant small piece of land.
right.
And if you have too much of that, it starts to take away your profit because you're paying just to keep the land there.
Mhm.
So a lot of guys want to buy, build, and get out in 4 to 5 months. Use your best bet. There are fellas that are stronger that have a lot more money behind them that could sit on property too.
Mhm.
You got to remember, you got to buy the lot. Let's say the lot's worth $200,000 in Weymouth. If you buy 5 of those, it's $1 million. Then you got to pay the taxes, and then you got to build on it. So you can chew up some money pretty quick. See the time frame. I'm on section 4 of working with builders. It could take anywhere from, depending on the land itself. I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm trying to get an approval for a small 10-unit building in Abington. And getting all the work done took 3 months, and now I have to go in front of the board to ask to be able to build on this property. And that could be another 2. So I think your average is anywhere from 3 months to a year, sometimes to get some of these through the boards to be able to subdivide property. It doesn't happen quickly, which is the state's also trying to change too. The state's putting a lot of pressure on different towns and their boards how to operate. They don't want to have, they just want majority now. They just want the votes to be 3 to 2 instead of having to have 4-2 votes in some of these towns, which you had to have super majority instead of majority. They're trying to break it down so just one person can, either way on a 5-member board, could get something through instead of a super majority, which you needed 4-2 votes. Let's see. Any other questions yet? I have said this in the past. One of the better ways to find property to building on is when you go on another appointment or you're driving somewhere. I got to keep using myself in an example. It's just that when you go a certain way to an appointment or wherever you're driving, sometimes you'll just see a vacant piece of property. You'll see a derelict house. Just take the note and then do some follow-up work on that. And quite often, this is something that others don't do. Make a phone call, especially a derelict house. That's really like a piece of property, a piece of land that might have to come down. You can just get a hold of the owners. You never know why it looks like that, why it's falling apart. And it could be that they just don't know what to do with it. Somebody passed away. It's going through probate. You find out what they're going to do with that property. And whether you're going to buy it for yourself or you're going to buy it, or you want to find a builder for it. Make sure that the builder you're going to work with will give you the listing back. Call that person and ask them, if I work with you, can I get the listing back? Putting value on a property. That's probably one of the hardest things to do. I have a piece of property that I'm selling for the KFC in Abington, and they want to subdivide it from their building that they have. And the problem is that somebody made an offer that was extremely high and then backed out. So they decided not to work with the agent they were working with. My name was given to one of the board members. We've talked, and when I looked at it and saw the plan they had, the road work alone is probably about $300,000. They're asking $550 for the property. That's $850 for 4 lots. It's pretty easy to figure out the numbers don't work. The value is probably about, and I'm just throwing this out there, not saying exactly what it is, but say it's worth $300 to $350. Somebody came in too high to buy it and kind of gave people an idea of what they think the value should be when it's not, just like a house. When somebody goes to overpay and then they back out, sometimes the seller thinks they can get more money than they can, but really it didn't come together. So the value was never there. So you need to look at how to price property. If it's a Form A lot. Let me have a, hold on. If you find other lots that may have been sold in and around that area, and you can do that just the way you do with the MLS. If you find a house lot that's in an older neighborhood, or where there's maybe small capes or a ranch that was built in the 50s, and you want to sell that, so that means that the new house that's going to be built there will be more valuable than the other houses around it. So you got to take that in consideration too. Whatever lot values dictate the size of a house that has to be built there and what they has to be sold for. If you have the lots cost, for instance, just, I'm going to use Halifax again. If you get a chance, just go on the MLS and look for new homes in Halifax and what the sales are going to be. And you're going to see they're way down. It's not an expensive town to buy a new home in. You take that same house and bring it to Weymouth, you'll probably add $150,000, maybe more to it. You bring it to Braintree, you might add two and a quarter to it. It costs you the same to build. It's just that the land values are less down there. And some towns you have to have septic and sometimes you'll have sewer. That could change your land value too. Any questions up to this point? Is everybody understanding what I'm giving them, or is it a little too much? You guys need more coffee like me?
I think it's understanding. I'm understanding it. Yep.
Now,
Trying to think of ways that I can insert myself in it to make some of these happen like you're doing.
well, it's a way to go, just because of the not enough realtors do it. It's that simple. You're all fighting for the same piece of scrap bread. It makes it hard. I mean, you got to be good as it is anyways, but if everybody's going after the expireds, the FISBOs, then you're just one of a group. But if you know about land, you can break off, and there's going to be not as many that know about it. And truly, there aren't. That's why there's not as many new homes that are being sold. And the ones that do, you can make a greater amount of money with a little less work, if I could use that terminology. Sometimes there's a little more to it when the new house is being built, but you'll just be that much better off than other agents that are out there. All right, I want to show you a little bit about zoning here, and I'm going to get my trusty friend Kelly to come back in. I'm going to go on the town website. So if we're going to go on the town website, nope, I don't want to go there. I don't think. I just gave him that.
You can just click out and search in your screen.
Okay.
Why don't you minimize this so that you can see better?
Just bear with me. And we're gonna look at a couple of things here. Is that the one I wanted to go in?
Yeah, it's the first thing.
Yeah, that's right on top here. All right. And
Zoning bylaws.
yeah, we're gonna try overlay in this one, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Give you a little something to chew on. You all can see what I'm going through right now. Did you see how I went on the town of Weymouth? I went up to, I put an overlay in the search. Is you all following this at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna go to a section that says Commercial Corridor Overlay District Bridge and Columbian Street. Yeah, thank you. I do have to be able to, I don't, excuse me. Should I open that up again? It's not gonna take the whole screen.
They can all see that. They can see your screen.
All right, so they don't need to see. All right. Yeah, I can't, thank you. What you're looking at right here, and this is how the town puts it on their website. This is something, this is going from what the zoning will allow you to do, and then they put this overlay on top, which adds additional areas for redevelopment. And these are some of the towns that they're in. So this one, if you're looking at it, either Columbian Square, Columbian Street, and I think the other one, and Jim, you're on top of it, might say Route 3A, Bridge Street.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So these areas, letting you know that's an overlay. So what you want to find out is what you can do in that overlay. So I'm going to go back a screen, and I'm going to put in zoning. Then you go to zoning bylaws. Could be zoning districts. Let's see what we got.
I think I missed it. What's an overlay?
In overlay, let's say you have, Margaret, you have one area that says you can have a business. They call it, maybe they call it B2 business or B1 business, which means you can do whatever that zoning says you can do there. Maybe it could be a restaurant, maybe it's a hair salon. Well, what the towns are doing is they're doing what they call overlay, meaning you have that first zoning, which I just told you, B1 or B2. And they're saying, if you don't want to do B1 or B2, we'll let you do an overlay. And the overlay is going to be that you can have residential on the second and third floors and have commercial on the first floor. So instead of just having that one level building that's getting old They can't do much with it, the owners. They can't rent it out for much. So if they can't rent it out for much, they're not keeping up with the building. The building is starting to get past its usefulness, what it was built for. Because when you go down Route 3A, you'll see these small brick shops. That was the hub way back when, and that's where the store was. That's where the liquor store was. That's where people went to pick up their groceries. So as time goes on, now we have big malls, we have Amazon. So all these little stores are being forgotten about, and they really can't do much with them. You can't get a lot of rent for those stores. It's very low, and the taxes are high. So that means the owner's not putting any money into the building, it's falling apart. Then they can't sell it for much because of what it is. It's past its usefulness. So the town says, all right, we'll give you an overlay, and you can either take that structure down or put a second and third level on top of it if the structure is sound enough to hold it. So that's what the overlays are. So a lot of towns have adopted this. Weymouth, Braintree, Canton, Holbrook has an overlay in the downtown area. Abington, they have this transit overlay where if you need near a train station, they want to see multifamily apartments there. And the reason is they'll say that people will take the train to work, they won't use their cars, they'll walk to all their conveniences. And Quincy is a mecca for that. If you see what's going on in Quincy. Now, some towns are pushing back on, Halifax says we don't want to be a Quincy, which is understandable. So let's see some of the zonings. I'm going to try something a little different. Zoning table. Let's see if I click that. This is interesting right here. Y'all can see a zoning table right in front of us. Now, let's go to R1, which is the top one on the left. And it tells you the type of use. It says a one family, which means single. You see right there, it says minimum lot size, which is 25,000. And it tells you what you need to have for a minimum lot width, which is 120 feet. You can actually, they have little clauses underneath that says see page 120, section 51, 120, 52, 120, 53. And that's not page 120, that's section 120, subsection 51. If you were to look that up, that could tell you that you need to have 40 foot of frontage, but 120 feet across the front of the house. So let's go to minimum front yard depth. That means you have to be back 18 feet before you can start building your house. Side yard tells you have to be 10 foot from the side lot line or 20 feet from another dwelling. So if you're in a neighborhood and the house was built prior to zoning, and that house is closer than 10 feet from their lot line, let's say it's only 5 feet, and there's no house in the lot you're buying, you'd have to be 15 feet from your lot line unless you get zoning board relief. Then it tells you on the far right how big or how high your house can be. So this is a very, you'll use this a lot if you're looking at land in certain areas. Town of Weymouth has a good property viewer too. You click on property viewer in the town. There's a lot there, very helpful. I wish other towns had the same idea. You all see that? Because I'm going to click off now.
Yeah.
Can I ask you just a general question? When a builder has to go in to ask, say for an extension of a road, or they have to ask for something that, like the 10 versus the 15 feet from the house next door, did towns tend to say, if we get something out of it, we'll approve it? Or have you, is that more so than just going through the board to say whether yes or no?
Sounds like
you know what I
extortion.
mean?
No,
I-
I
Each
understand
town
what you're saying.
varies.
Yeah, what if you're gonna try to extend the road, you're just gonna have to go to a planning board to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna hire you will hire a surveyor, an engineer, to show that you can do it, and then you gotta show the reason behind it, which is to extend the road and get a couple more house lots. This is something you're gonna wanna know. That makes it very helpful if you understand that process. Because
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about the politics of it. So we'll just. skip.
no, it's really not, no. I
Okay,
mean, people that have done it many times, there are people that like to work in Weymouth all the time because they just know Weymouth.
Mhm.
And then the building department, planning department might get to know them.
I see.
So is it helpful? I'd say it is. But if you were to walk in, Margaret, I'm new to this, they'd give you the same information. They just can't leave you hanging.
I see. Okay,
And they get a lot of it, believe. But when I was first new at this, we didn't, I don't want to go too far back, but there weren't computers for us to go on. You just had books and you'd go in there, and actually sometimes it was a lot easier because you could ask more questions of the people that help make the decisions than you do today on the computer. So they're a helpful group. A lot of towns will have town planners. Weymouth does. They got a couple of them. Holbrook doesn't have anybody in there but a building inspector. I don't think it works as well for the town.
Hmm.
So I would suggest that you all get to learn the zoning in the towns you want to work in. You can call them up and they'll be glad to give you answers. And if you find something that you need some help with, just give me a call, let me know. I've never worked in Boston or any of that surrounding area, Quincy South. But every town, if it says zoning, it will describe to you what you can do with it. So some of the towns that are all red hot right now, people are always looking to buy property. Builders, homeowners, they're always looking to buy. Any other questions for me? Anybody bring me an apple, anything? What's going on? I think that's gonna be it because it's a lot to take on, but if I have one suggestion, just learn the zoning in the town you want to work in. You can start with Weymouth because they have a lot online. They have their property viewer online. Their property viewer will tell you when you're looking at the property, if you just pick a property, and you can just do this for any property, not just a piece of land, just a house, anything you want to do. On the right-hand side on the property viewer, it'll say R1, R2, R3. You can click that, and then it will tell you what you can do with it. It'll bring you back to the table of regulations we just talked about. The other one that's got a pretty good, it's Abington's pretty good about how they have it set up to let you know what you can do with that property. That's really it. If you need more, just give me a call. I'm more than happy to help.
Very good.
You all good?
Yeah, thanks, Deb.
All right. Have a great day. Stay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Help
Great.
anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.